you imagine living at a time where it was believed that masturbation caused insomnia, exhaustion, epilepsy, moral insanity, mental insanity, convulsions, melancholy and paralysis? If I was not cured of my masturbation, it could eventually lead to my blindness, going into a coma and even death. If there had been any proof of such disease progression, one might thank them for their concern. But unfortunately, these claims were just plain scary, and it revealed a huge attitude towards female sexuality, where the outcomes that they chose were cruel, debilitating, and unacceptable. And these were forced upon women to cure them. Where was the proof that cutting off my labia, my vulva, my clitoris would cure me? Suddenly, blindness, coma, and even death seemed like a fabulous option compared to the reality of what was happening. Given that our physical bodies have survived masturbation and nymphomania, then the mental health model, seemed to take over in the 1870s. Most mental disease in women apparently resulted from abnormalities or excitation of the female external genitalia. The cure was to get rid of them. I don't mean to start the conversation in such a negative way. In fact, we can celebrate that in many ways we have come so far. But we can't dismiss the fact that the medical profession advocated clitoridectomies, that any scientific and public acknowledgement of female sexuality that even seemed to look like or sound like anything positive or anything that we would use to discuss today came about only about 60 or 70 years ago. Think about this. We all experienced a sexual history prior to being born. We were born into the beliefs of our mothers, our fathers, family, religion, culture, country of birth, friends and schooling. But before any of that could affect us, female sexual history existed and was affecting us from birth. We may never be free of other people's beliefs, cultural beliefs, religious beliefs, external influences. But what we can do is start developing, experiencing, and creating our very own, based on our desires, our intuition, what feels right for us, what feels right for us right now. And this can change. It can change overnight. It can change as we get older. It can change as we have children. It can change if we change partners. But we want to be able to allow it to evolve. One of the reasons why this presentation was developed in the first place was because I believed that there was so much that we as women and men needed to know about the female body. Yes, we go to school. Yes, we find out about reproduction. Yes, those things are important. But we need to have the basics in place. The basics so that if our libido shifts, that we have some tools and some knowledge available to us so that we can choose a pathway that can allow us to enhance our libido or to understand what it is that our body is experiencing. If we are experiencing any pain, we need to be able to go to someone, talk to them about it, and not be embarrassed. But not only that, if they do come back with an answer that does not work for us, or if they don't know what it is that we are talking about and they say, this is all in your head, it all looks right, I want to share with you who you can turn to so that we start having effective conversations. But more than that, I want us to start talking about pleasure. It's a word that we are quite comfortable in using when it comes to ice cream and when it comes to massage even. But when it comes to sexual pleasure, it's not something that we discuss. It dawned on me after I finished uni that I had not discussed sexual pleasure once in my 2 years master's degree. Well, actually, the first thing that dawned on me was that we never actually discussed penetration, the act of sex itself, because there were so many issues, dysfunctions that we needed to learn and study about that were preventing people from having pleasurable sex or even having sex in the first place. So then I started working with people, started talking to people, and they didn't come to you because they had a dysfunction. Some of them came to you because they wanted to improve their sex life. They wanted to feel more pleasure, more sensuality, more intimacy. Just they wanted to feel more. They wanted to enjoy their experience and to be in their body and to be present. But the thing was, aside from any personal experience, I had no experience in talking about pleasure or what it was that the body was experiencing that would allow you to enjoy more pleasure. Yes, there are other modalities. There is the tantric community and other communities. However, if we look at, I guess, the counselling community, the educating community, the scientific community, I started to search out what was the body doing and how could we use this standard information that was now available to help us understand, for example, why it was that foreplay was so important for the body and for pleasure. So over the years, talking to people, counselling people, I came across these little bits of information that I truly felt every single person needed to know. And that's what this workshop is really all about. So before I sign off from this very first, shout out to say hello, this is what I want us to do. I want you to ask yourself, what do I believe? What do I desire? And what do I want?